Which is better, the Samsung Galaxy A71 5G or the Samsung Galaxy A71 regular model? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my comparison between the Samsung Galaxy A71 5G and the Samsung Galaxy A71 regular model. Now I'd like to point out that there are way more differences between these two phones besides this one having 5G and this one not, and we're going to be going over that in this video. Now here are the boxes that do come with both phones. They do look very similar, but you can see we do have 5G on the box for the A71 5G. The next thing that I'd like to point out is that both of these devices are the factory unlocked variants of them. So take a look at the links in the video description to see the most up-to-date pricing for both phones. But in general, the regular A71 is going to be a lot more affordable than the A71 5G. Now with both devices, we're getting 6.7-inch displays. Both displays are Super AMOLED at 1080p, so they both look really good. They both have excellent colors, they both have great viewing angles, and in general are both awesome for content consumption. Now with both phones, we're getting a PPI of 393, we're getting a 20:9 aspect ratio, so a more narrow but taller form factor, and we're getting an 88.3% screen-to-body ratio, which is also very impressive. Now up top on both devices, we do have the hole punches for the front-facing cameras. Now both cameras are 32 megapixels, and you should expect to be able to take very good-looking selfies with both of them. Now both devices also feature 128 gigabytes of internal storage, and they both offer microSD card expansion. Neither of these two phones have wireless charging, and they both feature in-display fingerprint sensors and face unlock. So we'll first try out the fingerprint sensor with the A71 5G. So that was very quick. Now we'll try out the A71. And that was very fast as well. So both phones do have very decent and impressive fingerprint sensors. Now, taking a look at the back of both devices, they both have quad camera setups, and they both have a 64 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera, and a 5 megapixel macro camera for close-up pictures. Now here's how things look with the main cameras on both phones. We can then switch over to the ultra wide angle cameras to fit a lot more content into the frame here. You can also go over to the More tab to access the macro cameras for those close-up pictures, which is very awesome as well. And then we have the front-facing cameras on both phones with two different options. So we have the regular option here, but there's also another option to kind of crop out a bit if you want to take a group selfie or if you want to fit more of the background into the frame. And then of course we have live focus portrait mode, which blurs out the backgrounds, and I know that's very popular with many people. So we are getting a fully fledged camera setup here with both phones, giving you a variety of different features. But let's now get into the RAM and processor. Now both devices do feature 6 gigabytes of RAM, but the biggest difference between these two phones definitely is the processor. So with the Samsung Galaxy A71 5G, we do have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G. And then with the Galaxy A71, we have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 730. So there are quite a few differences between these two processors. The first thing is that with the 765G, you're going to be getting better performance with all tasks on the phone. And the second difference is that with the 765G, we're of course getting 5G support, whereas the 730 is limited at just 4G LTE. Now I did run a benchmark test comparing these two phones, and you can see that for both the single core and multi-core, the A71 5G is better than the A71. For example, for the single core, the A71 5G got a score of 604 compared to a score of 547 with the A71. And then for the multi-score, we got a score of 1875 with the A71 5G, whereas the A71 has a multi-core score of 1737. Now later on in the video, I will be doing a side-by-side speed test comparison between these two phones, so that you're able to see how they compare side by side when it comes to real life usage. Now with both devices, we are getting 4K video recording with the rear camera, and then with the front camera, we're getting 1080p video. And then with both devices, we are getting beefy 4,500 milliamp hour internal batteries with 25 watt fast charging. Now the software on both devices is Android 10, as you'd expect, with Samsung's One UI 2.0. But let's now take a closer look at the hardware. Now there are differences here. The button placement is different, and some other things are different too. Now I'd like to point out as well that the materials are also different. So with the A71 5G, we are getting a metal band running around the sides of the phone, whereas with the A71, we're getting a plastic band, but both devices do feature plastic on the back. Now, even though the A71 5G technically has better materials than the A71, I feel like both phones do feel nice and premium, and neither device does feel cheap. Now, taking a look at the left side of both devices, with the A71 5G, we have nothing. Whereas with the A71, we have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. Then taking a look at the right side of both phones, they both have the power button and volume button, but with the A71, the buttons are a little bit higher, and with the A71 5G, they're a little bit lower. Then taking a look at the top of both devices, they both have the noise-canceling microphones, but with the Samsung Galaxy A71 5G, we have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card. Then taking a look at the bottom of both devices, we pretty much have an identical setup. You can see there are two seams here on the bottom of the metal material on the A71 5G, but with both phones we're getting the speaker, microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and the 3.5mm headphone jack. And then on the back, both devices look extremely similar with pretty much the same exact setup. Now we do have a different pattern here if you can see it, so that's kind of interesting. Let's now do a speed test comparison between these two phones. So I do have all of the recent apps closed out. We're gonna first go over to the camera app. So 1, 2, 3, go. And you can see it was about the same on both phones. Let's now go over to Google Chrome. 1, 2, 3, go. And you can see the A71 5G was a little bit quicker, but let's now go to yahoo.com. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like it was very close there. If anything, the regular A71 was a little bit quicker, but pretty much a tie. Let's now go to espn.com. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like about a tie. Seems like the A71, the regular model, might have been slightly quicker, but not really a huge difference there. Actually, it looks like the A71 5G was first to show the ads and the score. So actually, it seems like in that test, it was a little bit quicker. Let's now pull up this article on Engadget. 1, 2, 3, go. And it looks like in this test, the A71 5G was a little bit quicker. Scrolling is very smooth on the A71 5G. Scrolling is also very smooth as well on the regular A71. So in conclusion of these two devices, which one is the better choice? Now, if price is not an issue, the A71 5G is the better option because you are getting 5G, you're also getting slightly better build materials, and you're also getting a more powerful processor in general. So most likely you'll be keeping this device for a bit longer than you would for the regular A71. But with that being said, the regular A71 is a lot more affordable. But if you want to save money but still have a good experience, I would say the regular A71 is certainly still the way to go. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Would you be willing to spend the extra money on the A71 5G? Or would you rather save some money but give up some things to get the regular A71? Really curious to know what you think about that, but I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.